everlasting arms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to dread? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessedness with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on Jesus Christ, my Savior, leaning on the everlasting arms. Dinonana chukunzimera katama, Jesu tenzi muponesi wakati firayo, timeiro doriwana irorino dichenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa. Ndaona upenyu utsva ndanzwa ropa rake, zvitema zvese zvapera apo patsimero, tsimeiro ndariona iro rino dichenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa. Ndamukanda itwa mutsva nembiri yedenga, nemoyo nenguo chena na Kristu mandiri, tsimeiro ndariona iro rino dichenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa. Chishambiso tsitsi dzake ropa rake pasi, muzi wenyi Jesu chete wakatinunura, tsimeiro ndariona iro rino dichenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa. Tsimeiro ndariona iro rino dichenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa kudzatenzi rochenesa.
Toda kukuchingamidzai hama neshamwari nekuramba muchitandadzana nesu. Tiri kuenderera mberi nechirongwa chedu The Journey of Life. Pari zvino tiri kutaura about season of singleness. Nguva iya kana kuti mwaka wekuti ndiri mukomana ndiri musikana handisandawana handisandawanikwa, ndo nguva yatiri kutaura nezvayo iyoyo. kuti tinyatsa kutsenga nyaya yedu zvakanaka ifambe nemufambiro watoda kuti iite. We have invited into the studio someone, a friend, and I believe to many of you, not a stranger at all, but nevertheless, I want to welcome Rotina Mafume Musara. Tinokuchingamidzai kuchirongwa.
Thank you very much. Makadiwa vatereri nevatariri.
Tinotenda zvikuru kwazvo. Nyaya tiri kutaura nezvayo, tiri kutaura maybe regai tichapabata ipapo. Asi chimbotitaurai kuti who is Rotina Mafume Musara?
Okay, ini ndinonzi Rotina Mafume Musara sekuziva kwedu. Ndiri mudzimai waPastor Musara. Takanangana nechirongwa chedu inini ndakazowana mubatsiri at 32 years. That's when I got married. So it means for the 32 years of my life, I was single. And ndiri ndega, ndichirarama ndiri ndega. And that's why I'm here to explain that. I'm a very opinionated person.
Thank you for giving us heads up. Letting us know well ahead of time.
Yes, and ndirimunhu anofara, anoda kufara as well.
Yes.
And I'm a people person, I'm an extrovert. And, you know, I think we'll talk about this much more. The relationship that you get when you find someone who is totally opposite to you. And the journey of singleness sometimes takes you by surprises as well.
Yes, so the extroverts ndo atinoti akazhangandira.
Yes.
Because ushona hatina izigura kuti extrovert ka. Tinogoti kana ukawa introvert akangoti quint. You know, that's kind of like, you know, Shona as it comes. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
So you're an extrovert, you're a people person, you know, and you like interacting and, you know, sharing your ideas and exchanging ideas with others and so on. And today you are here to share with us your experience, you know, the journey of singleness. Okay, that's good. Okay, I have a question as we get into the waters. Is there ever a time, or is it ever appropriate to say, kuti munhu anonoka kuroora kana anonoka kuroorwa? Is it ever appropriate?
It's never appropriate. It's never appropriate, but it's unfortunate that in our culture we have set time limits for our girl child when they should get married. And I think it's a history that we carried on from before. Kuti tatangojaira kuti mwana panobundira mazamu otanga kugeza anofanira kuchidina kuchiwana murume obva aenda kumurume wake otanga kubereka vana zvichinda zvakadaro. So we were used to that and we carried it on into the church as well. But you'll find that it's not a phenomenon yakangoitika kuAfrica kwega. It's world over, and communities evolved over time to accept kuti, you know, someone can take longer, and there are many factors tsawakuita kuti musikana atore kanguva kakati rebei, and these factors dzakafanana education, dzakafanana career wise, dzakafanana kuti mukadzi akupuwawo ma-opportunities aanga asina kudhara. Tikatarisa kudhara waingo zvagwa uchitrenwa kunoroorwa.
Okay.
Waitrenwa kunogara nechina nemurume wako. That was it. So everything chawaiita kubva kukubika unozobikira murume sei, uchanotinyadzisa kumurume wako, unotadza kusenga mugomo uchanoita sei kwavamwene wako, unotadza kutsvaira mumba uchanoita sei nemurume wako. You know, everything was
oriented toward that. That was the goal.
That was the goal.
So if kana zvisakaita saizvozvo zvoita sekuti a person is a failure in life.
It's an abnormality.
It's an abnormality
in the society. The normal is when you're a girl, you quickly get married, you start a family, you know. But the abnormal is when you see musikana akashika, akabundira, asina murume. Then it's wanonoka, arikuitei, sei, arikudada, arikudaiso, and the list goes on.
Wow. I mean, you've given us quite a mouthful already. Quite a number of issues that we need to detangle, as it were, or to untangle, and really follow different strands in what you've just shared so far. And so, may you then share with, you mentioned like the girl child, but does this also ever affect boys or men?
Certainly,
Yes.
but not as much as it affects women. Like I said, we have so many messages that come to the girl child.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm biased towards the girl child, but I'll try to
Yeah,
balance.
it's okay if you've already told us.
Yes. So there are so many factors that and so many pressures that come to the girl child. Okay, the girl child is we have a notion that her beauty expires.
Okay.
Yes. So they say, you know, she should get married quickly because the beauty will then fade, and then your husband will look younger than you, etc., etc. So it goes on. Kuti mukadzi anozochembera murume wake achiri jaya, saka musikana ngaakurumidze kudina kuwanikwa, ngaakurumidze kuroorwa, so that doesn't affect. But we realize in this day and age, actually you can look as young as you want.
Okay.
Because of the messages that we now understand. You can exercise and look 20 the rest of your life. Kuna anochembera anoda. In other words, you can grow old if you want.
Yes.
And the idea of growing old in itself is not a bad idea. It's actually very good to grow old. You grow in wisdom. You grow in so many aspects. And yeah.
You'd seem to be turning our world upside down, my Musara.
Because we have to grow old. Who wants to remain a baby? Who wants to remain crawling? Who wants to remain cycling
it's not
their milk?
Something to mourn over.
It's not something to mourn over. I can grow old and enjoy life and get married and celebrate my oldness.
Okay.
You know? So we need to normalize celebrating our aging.
Okay.
Because an old woman is not bad. It's not a bad idea.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And she can find love. So I think when these messages now come to us as young ladies, it puts pressure on us. Because I remember as I was growing up, Form 2 thereabout, I started praying for a husband, you know, because that's what you're taught
that's
at
the
church.
environment.
I grew up an Adventist, and the environment teaches you to pray for a husband, which is very good. So at Form 2, I started praying for my husband. Lord, I want a good guy, and you know, all this nice messaging in my head, envisioning my wedding day, envisioning what it was going to be like, you know, all sorts of things. At Form 6, I'm positive if I go to university, soon after I should be married, you know.
Yes.
So
yes. I want you to tell us more about that. In other words, your experience.
Yes.
So you have given us a background. You could tell us, LS Form 2, you were already consciously praying,
yes,
you know, and envisioning your wedding and the colors and whatever. Turquoise, the color, and so on.
Rainbow.
Rainbow. My daughter says rainbow is a favorite color. I said, okay, yeah, rainbow is all the colors.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. So, and then you are now talking about like A-level university,
yes,
and so on. Take us into your experience. Yes, that phase of singleness, which would be of concern either to you or to others, or I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's the time when your parents are now comfortable with you dating as well. Remember, from Form 1 to Form 6, my dad didn't want any of it.
Okay.
Not at all. But as I went into the university phase, he was now more comfortable with me.
With that idea.
With that idea of me having a boy. I could even, you know, hint to him. I want to call my boyfriend, you know, Papa ne phone pachikoro, things like that. Saka ndaigona kunzi ndikatoita zvizuva ndisina kufona otonzi amucha phone.
Okay.
So it brings in again another aspect of parental expectations.
Okay.
When you get to a certain age, you know.
And this is like what age, let's say, for the girl child?
This is like 20, 21, 22, 23,
okay,
you know. They are now expecting kuti vachaona mukwasha achificha, you know. And so for me, it was when I finished my first degree at 24, 25, thereabout, I should get married, you know. So I want to concretize my relationships. And I'm actively involved in relationships.
Okay.
In fact, at that time. So you are thinking, this is going to be my husband. I'm settled. It's definite, you know. And when you are thinking that, paunoshika age you find yourself single. The relationship yapera. So it's a major source of stress.
Okay.
I've been praying,
Okay.
earnestly praying
All
about
right.
my relationship.
To a living God.
To a living God. I've been actively involved in a relationship. I'm
Okay.
thinking it will lead to marriage. How come I'm single? Dear God, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So you start setting another date because the 24 one didn't work out.
Okay.
So you start praying to God. At 26,
Okay.
it's definite.
Okay.
I'm going to be what? To be married at that particular time. So again, you go the cycle of prayer, the cycle of fasting, the cycle of going into ladies groups and
Okay.
praying, and the, you know, kuchechi kunenga kuchinzi vasina vakomana vanoda kupinda musvitsa tsvene uri kusumuka, you know,
Yes.
faithfully
Uchinyengetererwa.
uchinyengetererwa, which is good. Prayer is always good, but it raised. So for that time, for me, I had no other thoughts except I want to get married. Yes, I had finished school and you know, that way, but my idea was not to remain single at that time.
Okay.
After my first degree. That was not my idea. My idea was already to start a family.
Okay.
But I couldn't start it on my own because that was the time I was also single. So you start getting into different relationships, and sometimes you force on yourself on men who are not even interested in you.
Okay.
But you want to be in a relationship.
Okay.
And you are attaching yourself to whoever makes a liking towards
Okay.
you.
Okay.
But you find some, at that time, because you are not thinking properly, you are not putting your mind into the kind of relationships that you're getting into.
Okay.
You find yourself being juggled, maybe by a guy, and you're
And
stringing
especially
along.
maybe if they can sense that maybe there's that element that
Yes.
you, if I may use the word, like desperate.
Yeah.
If it's permissible.
It's permissible because when I look back, when I reflect back, I think there were some desperate moves as well that I was making.
Okay.
You know, you could see that someone is not really that interested in you, but you continue to push yourself.
Okay,
on
maybe you
them.
are calling them more often than they're calling you.
You're
or
calling
something
them
like
more
that.
often, you're visiting them more often, you're
Okay.
putting more effort, you know,
Okay.
that kind of a thing. And you have stopped your life.
Okay.
So every time I would go into, and the relationship would break, by the way. So you get into another one, you become clingy because you want this to work. You have a target that you have put, a cape, a debt that you have put. So you're thinking, at 26, I should be married. You know, I should be married. And 26 came and passed by. Like, how does this happen?
Wow.
I'm not an eyesore, you know. I think myself as beautiful as well,
yes,
you know.
Yes,
so
yes.
you are asking yourself, dear God, why? You know, why am I going through this? But I think it was good that way. It was good that it happened that way when you're looking in retrospect.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I would want to hear about that.
yes. I'll talk about it. So I think when you then pass that stage, I think I was now 27, 28, and I was thinking my life is almost, you know, gone, and I'm focusing on this relationship which are not working in fact. So I think at one point I then decided just to focus on my I think what clicked for me was when this guy said, you want to do school. I just said this short, you know, scholarship. You want to do school, so you are going to be married to your school.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, let me be married to my school.
Okay.
So I changed my mindset.
All right.
And then I started focusing more on myself.
Okay, improving yourself.
Improving
upgrading
myself,
yourself.
upgrading myself. I that's when I started to actively looking at opportunities. I love traveling, by the way.
Okay.
It's opportunities to go out of the country. So at that point in time, I just started traveling, looking for opportunities. Apply. I didn't have money, by the way, but I would actively look for anything that would sponsor me to go outside of the country.
Okay.
Anything that would use my brains for that. And I started actively using my brain to do that. So I would travel, go to this place, go to that place, go to that place. And I started enjoying being single.
Okay.
But the cape was there again at 30. 30 I should, you know.
All right, all right.
So when we put pressure on ourselves as ladies by having it's good to put, to plan ahead, but it's good to plan on things that you can control.
Okay.
There are some things that you can't control,
Okay.
but there are things that you can, as a person, control. Things like education, things like the friends that you're going to have,
Okay.
things like your positive outlook towards life,
Okay.
things like enjoying oneself with your girlfriends, So I thank God, because at that time Silver Club was introduced.
Okay.
When Silver Club was introduced, I felt at home, because I used to joke with my brother, you know him, Isaac.
Yes.
We were at another church.
Okay.
And kids at that church started saying Auntie Rotina, and he would jokingly say, when they start calling you Auntie, that time, yes, what?
Yeah. The clock is
the clock
ticking.
is ticking,
Okay.
So I was aunt, but I think having that kind of brother, because my brother was a very close friend to me.
Okay.
And having that kind of brother where I could vent out, where I could talk with, and I think it's very important when you are single to have a family member that is close to you.
Okay.
Because they quickly point out where you are going wrong. Of course, you may refuse, but he was that kind of strength for me, because I could then go into a relationship and he would quickly tell me, you're putting too much effort.
Okay.
As a lady, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, because it might be counterproductive.
It might be counterproductive
because it may scare a guy.
Yeah, you are hating yourself in these processes.
Yes.
He was a voice of reason.
Okay.
And you need that voice of reason. It might be your sister, it might just be your girlfriend, but at some point, you need a voice of reason. This is why it's important for me that I be close family. I've experienced staying alone as a single lady, and I've experienced staying with family as a single lady. So I stayed with family, stayed alone, then went back to family.
Okay.
But when I look back, I think my best times were when I was with family.
Oh, is it so?
Yes, because then when you are single, you want companionship.
Yes.
And then you are in your one room. And yet, and sometimes you daydream, sometimes you wander, and that's when sometimes you make decisions which are not good for you as a woman. I know it's a tradition, kuti zvinzi mwana musikana abude mumba asati aroorwa. It was tradition, but ndakaitarisa ndinotoona kuti it was good in some way.
Yes.
Because at that time, ndanga ndisina pressure yemarentals, meaning I could put my money into other things like property, etc. So I think ukazifunga zvakadaro kuti you are not being limited, but you can put your money into good use, into other things as you wait on your husband. And I delayed acquiring property because in my mindset the messages, the culture, kuti hautengi imba, musikana hatengi imba, musikana hatengi mota. You know how those messages come.
Yes,
and then you're thinking, kata so wane murume wangu, we can start building.
Yes.
But I caught it up late, but I managed to do something, And I think it's important for ladies to understand that. Acquire as many assets as you can. It's for you. It's for yourself, So I think it was important for me to stay with people at that time, because I could save and do other things as well by the side, which is very critical for us ladies. But I also want to point the fact that as I was doing, I mentioned about doing school and all. So as I was doing school, I was being exposed to different worlds, the diaspora, everywhere. I could go and enjoy life and so forth. But also I began to see new realities of what could be out there. Faithfully attended church wherever I would go. And in the diaspora, I would also be hoping to meet someone. And and there's no one.
Yes,
I mean, all the churches that
I've had some sisters, like at least some sisters in the diaspora who have confided in me as a pastor, expressing the difficulties that they also meet with, you know, with regards to the topic and I mean that we have right
Exactly,
now.
exactly, because you go there, but there are not that many men that you see in the church, eligible bachelors, because at that time you have also opened your mind and you are not so desperately looking, but you are looking for someone who can be a partner to you. And then you...
Okay, you have just said something that's very important there. It seems like you're talking about, because we're talking about experience, right?
Yes.
It seems like you're saying to me that there's a time, maybe when you're this, like so much pressure, and you're setting these dates and resetting them, but then you seem to be saying then, at a certain point, you have transitioned to another mode of thinking.
Exactly.
Where it seems like you don't have that desperation. You're now looking for real substance, not just any guy who shows up.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly, that's what I'm saying. There was a time where any guy, I would think, okay, let me just try.
Okay,
you know,
let's make it work.
Let me lower
my expectations, my standards.
Expectations a bit, you know, and get
accommodate.
this guy, to accommodate this guy. But I want to thank God it didn't work out with those guys, because then I would lower them, but they also wouldn't try to raise.
Okay.
to you know.
You have to rise to the occasion.
To the occasion. So you would be in that relationship, but knowing, something is not right. No, but I want it to work. I also want to have a family. This is what I've been praying for. I remember at one time doing a 5-day fast. No water, no nothing. My friend knows about it. We always laugh about this story. And at the end of that fast, the guy rejected me flat out. And I'm thinking, oh God, what's happening?
That hurts.
That hurts. But these are the experiences that a single woman we go through, you know. And sometimes it's to the outside world, it's okay, it's all right. But sometimes you've got your own struggles, your own pressures that you're putting on yourself.
Okay.
So that time...
So in other words, there's pressure that comes from outside, and then there's some other pressure that one puts themselves under on their own.
On their own.
Okay.
And of course, these are fed by our environment.
By the environment.
By the environment.
Yeah, because culturally, I understand that back in the days, let's say maybe kutakuma 35, oshaika asatawana, anovigwaka aine mugoti kana kuti aine gonzo. Kutana is something like that. I think that is culture. So the momentum is still there.
The momentum from culture, from friends, and from just seeing your peers go, even from seeing your exes go and marry.
Wow.
You know, so you break up with someone, next thing they are married, white wedding day. You break up with another one, next thing they are married. Whoa. So all this pressure.
Then you begin to say, is there something wrong with me?
Is it me?
Okay.
Or is it, you know, you ask yourself all these questions, which are okay at that particular time.
Okay.
But also, I think, let me talk about the pressure that you put yourself under and the pressure that comes from the environment.
Yes.
Because the pressure that is within makes us leaders to then lower our standards.
Okay.
You know, and I think it's unnecessary to do that. Because the person that you are lowering your standard to will not raise their bar. And when you marry that person, you already know this is not what I want. But I'm trying to fit into the cosmos.
Okay.
I'm trying to have children. So when you go up, as you mature more in years, I think for me, there's a time, I think God snapped it out.
Okay.
To say, you know, calm down, do your life, do you.
Okay.
It's time to do you.
Okay.
You know,
all
and
right.
I was so confident, and I want to thank the Sofa Club for that.
Okay.
Because the Sofa Club was then a club for 25 people who are 25 years and above. I felt very comfortable.
Okay.
I could promote Sofa Club, I could run with it, we would go for camps, we would go everywhere. And even outside of the church, I had friends where they would just invite me to go to Victoria Falls. I would just pack my bags and go, you know, Domboshava, you name it.
Okay.
Because I love traveling. So every opportunity to travel, every opportunity to, you know, that beat out the loneliness.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Being occupied.
Being occupied
okay.
made sure I was not lonely anymore. I had companion. And inside that club, you'd, here and there, you'd talk to some guys
Okay.
and,
Yes,
and vet them and
Yes.
So it was okay that way.
Yes.
Because I don't think you then should shun out any advances towards you.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Okay.
I mean, if a guy says, let's meet, go and meet.
Okay, all
Define
right.
where you want to meet.
Okay, or
If you are
define.
not comfortable with chicken anymore, tell that guy, we can meet, but not a chicken.
We have passed that stage.
I'm past that stage.
Okay.
Be open.
All right.
And you tell the guy, we can meet. These are the 4 places that I'm comfortable meeting.
Okay.
And you meet at those places. Don't be pressured anymore, because you are past that stage where you are going to be pressured. You are in your 30s already.
Okay.
So for me, when I reached the 30s, I was in no rush.
Okay.
I was now settling.
All right. You are now dictating the pace at which you are doing your things.
Yes, I was now detecting the pace. I was also open to recommendations, from people. I met this guy.
That's one thing. I've seen some people who would say, Pastor, I'm open. If there's anybody you think, I'm free to any, suggestions. But at a certain point, I think some people don't take it lightly if they are recommended. I don't know.
Yeah, because some of the recommendations, Pastor, you'll be shocked.
Okay.
Because when I'm recommending someone, it means I know you both.
Okay. Yes,
so I should look at least the person that you are and look at the recommendation that I'm posing.
Yes,
it should make sense at some point.
It should make sense.
Yeah, don't just recommend for the sake of she's single, so she needs a guy.
She should take
any other guy. Because then when I meet with them, I'm like,
what?
What's going on here?
Yeah, okay.
Is this the recommendation?
Yes.
Well, let's be reasonable. Because if I'm open for recommendations, it doesn't mean I'm open to anything.
Okay.
The person you are recommending me to
has to add value to your life, or substance.
And value to my life as well. Looking at where I am in life, because I've worked to be where I am. So I also need a compatible partner. And it's not wrong to look for a compatible partner, not just anybody.
May I ask a question? Let's talk about this issue of progressing in life and so on, especially for the girl child. If it's the boy, it's not a problem if they buy a house or whatever and so on. And you actually said that you delayed investing in properties and so on because maybe you're trying. I mean, what do you say about that? The thinking that sometimes guys will say, oh, if she's already driving, if she's already, no.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Pastor, in our church.
Is it just church or it's culture? Or what?
Okay, fine. From the culture, yes, there is that belief that a girl should not acquire property. Acquire nofanira kusara kumba kwavo kwakasvakwa. So mubereki anenge achitoziva kuti ane imba 3 saka pachaenda uko anoenda ne0 isitosara nedzimba dziya. That was the thinking. Or rather, she should just wait because achaenda kumurume wake. So this is why when education started, we were educating the boy child instead of the girl child.
Okay, yes.
Because we were saying the girl child can just learn to read and write and then she goes off to her husband. Right? It's still happening in some sectors of the country. But what we are saying is it's about a person. When you are born and there's a certain stage where you have goals and aspirations.
Yes.
And those goals should take you far as a person. I'm married now, but already I have actualization goals that I have, that I need to make. So as a culture, let's break away from that.
Okay.
A lady can acquire as much property as they want, and I'm happy.
Yes,
as
take
I
all the
speak, I know
opportunities
so
they
many
can.
ladies who have taken such opportunities. We have bought 3 houses and they are single. We have cars, we have businesses, thriving businesses. We are making a name for themselves because
So I want you to address a young man who's watching and probably they are contemplating whether or not to get into a relationship with a lady like the one you've just described. Yokuti ane mota dzake 2 dzakapakwa apa, ane flat rake, ane imwe stand yaari kutodevelopa. I mean, what do you say? I want you to talk to the guy.
Okay. I think to the guys, my advice is love the person, not the property. Whenever you see a human being, appreciate that person first
Okay.
before anything else. And also get to know them and get to respect what they have acquired. Because it's not so much as I'm in your life, what do you have?
Okay.
It's now ours, you know, or I'm in your life, what you have, and then you squander it up. Because from where the ladies can be very sacrificing, very altruistic. If I meet a guy and I have my car, he'll probably be driving that car. And sometimes he misuses that opportunity. Now going off to meet other ladies with that car and abusing the money that you, but you are saying, I'm building a life with this guy so we can share whatever I have. But at the end of the day, you find that it was not genuine. But if someone is coming from an angle where they are genuine, you can actually see that we are going to have a future with this guy. He's not lazy, maybe he just didn't get the opportunities that I got, you know, but let's work something out. And when you get into a relationship, try as much to equal your partner or to surpass your partner by also showing you can work hard and you can make it happen. Because if my girlfriend has the brains of business, that should be my source of happiness. You know, I found someone who's
business-minded and
business-minded,
you know,
and
yes,
you know,
and then build on that.
And build on that.
Okay, consolidate, and you make something beautiful for
exactly.
the
Make something beautiful for the relationship. Because
yes.
you meet me at 45, you expect me not to have property. That's impossible. You look at the stage that I am in. If I'm above 25, I will acquire some things, obviously, as I expect also the guy to have acquired some things. It might not be huge things, but I expect them to have at least to something, you know. Just, you know, and so forth.
Okay, that's, yes. That's
so I think vakomana ngavasatya vasikana.
Okay.
Yeah, if you might not have had the chances kuita maproperty and so forth, but ingo approach mskana semskana.
Okay, semskana.
Love them, don't abuse them, don't abuse their
and
properties.
respect what
the
effort they've put into, I mean, to build all this.
Because ultimately you will both benefit. Ultimately. So I think vaskana now, they are more aggressive when it comes to business. Vaskana vagara vakaronkeka naturally. And I think we should evangelize more, Pastor, because we need husbands. And our church, I think, variku kana vasiri kutya.
Zviri kuita sekuti vakomana vashoma here kana kuti?
Havasi vashoma, but you will want those who can match, who can come to the party.
Okay, so are you saying...
don't come.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a time you because you create problems for me.
Okay.
And I'm talking about experience here.
Okay.
When someone is already intimidated by you, even mukapinda mu relationship, that intimidation won't end.
It will worsen.
It will worsen your situation because you are compromising at every stage. But you want mukomana where if you are going to have a conversation, it's an intelligent one.
Okay.
And if you are going to discuss business, it's an intelligent conversation that I'm going to have. I don't want someone intimidated whereby if I come and say da promote wakubasa akuteta ma second
pakai
zvinoshanda kani, it's just a promotion, and I lower myself. No man, ndikuda an equal ndaramba because zvakafanana naike zvino inini I was open. Even if a guy was 2 years younger than me, I didn't mind.
Okay.
I know that most ladies, they're still not open to that.
Okay.
Zimbabwean ladies. But for me, I was. But I realized that maybe the guys are not yet up to speed with that notion. So unogara or on the receiving end. So this is why I'm saying if someone has to be a compatible partner, they have to be compatible in every way. They shouldn't put me to feel guilty about what I've acquired, to feel guilty about my age, to feel guilty about who I am. Because you do not marry me at 32 and then you start saying, kuroora musikana akura, I'll run out of that marriage, to be honest. Say, okay, you're comfortable with the young, okay, all right. Let me make this clear. I will leave you to what?
Yes.
To the younger ones.
Yeah, to the
I'll
younger
go
ones.
to whoever is going to appreciate me. So it's important that we get this straight, Pastor, that being single lady, being mature in age, it's not a source yokuti untidine, unti atake as a woman. Neither the church should, because these are outside pressures.
Yes.
Wakura hako, you are at church, wasangana na Pastor Mbiriri, you want to talk to him. Moseka, you know, someone already thinks, why is she laughing with my husband?
all right.
Or maybe I'm starting a business. I know, you know, elder, this is so into business, elder, that. Let me approach these guys. Maybe they might help me with one or two brains.
Connections,
you know,
and so on.
Connections and so on. I go to them in a good spirit, but already someone is reading it wrongly.
Okay.
Why is she calling my husband? Why is she talking to my husband? You know, all those insecurities. So they start to pile on you as a single lady. You are not supposed to talk to business persons. Otherwise, someone will say,
okay,
why was she meeting with them?
It is a business.
At church, you can't even talk to the elder. Ukati befriend vacho vane varume muchatorerwa murume nemasingwa munongoti
tinongoona muchifamba nawa
munongofamba nemusikana yeye, you know, wachenawo kuchechi, you are looking good and presentable, ari kupfekera varume vedu hembe, you know. So what am I supposed to do? But also, I think as a word of caution, that you control yourself as a person, not what people say about you.
Okay, you can't control other people, what they think and what they say.
You cannot control. That is out of your bounds, but you can control
how you respond.
Okay. And how you are going to carry yourself forward.
And how much you let
and
that
how
affect
you make,
you.
Yes, okay. And how you let it affect you. Be active in church.
Okay.
Usatombomira kuti anti masikatokona kudzokera kuchechi. Dzokera. And anoticha ma-adventure acho nema-pathfinding wawo nema-youth. Unenge uchitonakigwa, you know, uchienda kumakempi. That's what I ended up
doing. I think kana udenga dechitaura chikaranga chinongonakidzawo.
You enjoy, Pastor.
Yes.
Teacher to my pathfinder, to my youth, and because you are closer to the youths, they'll also open up to you.
To you.
Because you are not a mother.
Yes.
You are one of them.
Yes.
You are a youth.
Yes.
You are just older. But they know the path they've walked. You have walked.
You relate.
You relate.
Yes.
Kana vachimhanya iwo you know. Kana vakati let's go ku concert, go with them.
Okay, ku
concert. And enjoy ku concert.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Don't be youthful, because that's who you are. Yes. And you have no strings.
Yes. In other words, some of the joys of being in that stage of singleness.
Yes, Pastor. I think when I realized that I needed to live for me, and I thank God for giving me this thought, I really started enjoying myself.
Okay.
The beauty of singleness, one of the things, because I love traveling, is you can pack your bags and go.
Okay.
Anywhere where you want to go, you just, you know, pack your bags and be on the move. You can fly around this whole country, play with the internet. I was on the internet every time. Scholarship. You don't need to have money. Well, I wouldn't sponsor myself. I don't have that kind of money. But I would look for any opportunity.
I mean, just tell I want you to concretize that. Like, for example, what scholarships did you have? I mean, where did you go? I mean, with the scholarship. Where did the scholarships take you, in other words?
Yes, I remember my first one was Norway.
Okay.
I went to Norway.
You did some studies there?
I did some studies there, my development studies course. It was a certificate course. I came back. I saw an opportunity in Canada. I went there. It was, I think, 6 months I was there.
Okay.
I saw, you know, I went to the Niagara Falls to see them.
Victoria Falls, America.
America.
Yes.
You know, I was just enjoying myself, traveling, you name it, Toronto, Ottawa, I know all those places.
Okay,
Nova
and zvakaita
Scotia.
musizini of singleness
Zvakaita
iyoyi.
kamusizini of singleness, kutanga kuona snow ndiri single.
Wow,
Tikati
kuti
ne-
mhoro snow.
Mhoro snow, ndo inotaurwa
Ndiwe.
mumastorybook.
Kuti hanzi zvivi zvichachena sechando.
Sechando. Ndo chando chacho. Sechero. Kana
Sechero,
yembuku.
yes,
Inoti
yes.
sechero yembuku yedu. Tikati
Yes.
ndo chero chacho.
You see?
Because we didn't know what it was.
Season of singleness.
Season
imomo.
of singleness. I went to the Netherlands to do my masters. Ndiri koko ndakavhizitira vana Germany, vana France, vanani, you name it. Ndikatombowana visa reku UK that I didn't even utilize.
Wow.
But ndinoona chiko ku UK, Europe is so down.
Okay.
And I let it go.
Yes.
You know?
So in other words,
But
you were busy.
I was
You
busy.
didn't put yourself in a corner and just, having, wallowing in tears of self-pity and,
Why? You know, those were the best. Victoria Falls, I went with my girls. I would just enjoy my life. And I would enjoy even serving the Lord as well.
Wow.
So it was so, and because for me, I would just tell God, no. I think muZimbabwe makumbondishota mbichana.
Okay.
Ndikambeta zvimasizeni zvokurambwa izvinombota. Mwari, it's time for me to go out of this country.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
go on the internet,
Yes.
actively looking, applying, and
Okay.
vabereki never put a cent in my traveling.
Wow.
Ndakuzvaudza kuti naku musi
Yeah.
wakati ndiri kukwira ndege. You know?
Kuti what?
Votozouya kuHarare vachimhanya kuti vandione paairport ndichisumuka.
Uchisumuka.
You know?
Yeah.
But I had that freedom. And I was building my career as well. You know, working here and there. Ndichizvitengerawo tunhu twangu.
Okay. Yes.
Ndikatotengawo kaproperty kangu.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
going forward with life.
Yes.
And I think at that point, again, Pastor, I want to point this. Kuti ndakatomboita period and I said, you know what? I think if I buy property and I do my PhD, I think I will adopt 2 girls. Ndogara zvangu nevanasikana vangu vaviri.
Okay.
You know, and that's when Pastor found me. I was at that point.
Oh, you were at that point.
I was at that
Wow.
point. But still, I was open to meeting guys.
Okay.
But all the circle of my friends can testify because my mind was made up.
Okay.
My mind was made up. I knew I was going to have a family, even though I was going to be single.
Yes.
So my idea was, there's nothing that stops me from having a family.
Okay, but it's good how I will have the family.
How I'll have the
but
family.
still you can have a family.
But still I can have a family,
Yes,
even though I'm
yes.
single.
Yes,
You know. So
okay.
I began to see no barriers to my enjoying motherhood,
Okay.
even though I was single.
Even though you were wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling
I told you
myself-
that you are turning our world upside down. And so on. We need to bring this to a close.
Yes.
It's a conversation that I wish would just, continue and so on. You have already mentioned like Silver Club and, you kept yourself busy looking for opportunities. These are some of the things that were like sources of strength
Yes.
for you during this journey. And you mentioned like friends that you travel with, like Nunavik Falls and so on. So that means it like a support group.
Yes.
Also, that is important, right? And I think basically you got to a point of appreciating that life is not just about getting married.
Yeah.
And even family, one can still have family, even
Exactly.
if they are never married, and
Exactly.
so on. Like as you have just shared, So, my opportunities are kunoenda kuna Netherlands and so on and so on, and exploring. It seems like it broadened your horizons.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
I think it changes the way you look at life, the way you look at things. You are not cocooned anymore. Because sometimes we limit ourselves because of the worldview that we have.
Yeah, if all I know is my village.
Yeah, if all I know is my village, then at 21, for sure, I
yes.
need to find a husband. And anything that you bring to me
Yes.
is welcome.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to know that, the world has changed. It is no longer the same way it was, Panguena, Kaguri, and so on. And the opportunities that are now there and so on. We probably need to have, a new way of looking at life and the situations that people go through and so on. the boy child, and maybe more specifically the girl child, and so on. Okay, and I just want your closing thoughts, you know, to someone who's watching. There could be someone in the diaspora, someone here in Zimbabwe or anywhere else in Africa or the world for that matter. They are watching this program and maybe they are still in this season. And maybe it's parents who have a child, a daughter or a son in this season. And so, I mean, or your closing thoughts.
I think God has no boundaries. God has no timelines. And God will fulfill the desires of our hearts at some point. And some of the desires, they are not in a straitjacket.
Okay.
I never dreamed of being a pastor's wife, not in any way possible. Whatever you do, don't let me meet a pastor. No, I had a prayer.
Okay.
Like after reading Adventist Home at some time, I actually said in my heart, and I actually said it in prayer, I still remember, Lord, whatever you do,
okay,
let's not meet a pastor for a husband.
Okay.
Because I'm not qualified for that, you know. So my marriage is not dramatic. I'm not going to make it dramatic. But I'm just saying God has no limits. God has no boundaries.
Yes.
God is not time bound.
Yes.
If you have a desire, God will meet you at that desire. But if it delays, don't stop your life. You have a life to live.
Okay.
Be who you want to be. And you know, Paul akataura akati, I wish if you were like me.
Like me.
If you would remain like me.
Yes.
And that's comforting.
Yeah.
Because it's inspiration.
It's inspiration.
Saying, you know, you are okay like that.
Yes.
You are complete
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And if you can remain like that, bravo.
Yeah, bravo.
You know,
One is
like,
a number.
One is a number. It's like God is sharing us to remain single.
Yeah.
But when we do past that season, it's still okay. But when we are still single, He is cheering us on.
Yes.
And I want to say, for the prayers that we ask when we are single, God meets them.
Yes.
And I always say, God would meet that prayer. Simple as it was.
Yes.
But God would meet that prayer request. So when we are single, let's be so spontaneous with our prayers. Let's tell God anything that we want. Ikash, no, you want to answer some of the things.
Yeah.
Even if I say I want to go out, if you say, let you stay with the kids and the husband. I want.
Yeah.
I want. And that worries me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, tinotenda zvikuru, this has been a beautiful episode, or conversation. Tichitaura about, you know, the season of singleness, Pachirongwa, the journey of life. And we have learned quite a lot. We really appreciate and we thank you. And we wish all the best for you and the pastor and the kids, and your words of wisdom and encouragement. Your experience has spoken to our varied experiences and situations. And so to anybody out there, may the Lord bless you, and whatever opportunities you have, please seize them and do the best that you can.
Amen.
And keep on praying, keep busy in the Lord's work. The Lord knows about you and your situation. And in His good time, He does things in a beautiful way. May the Lord bless you. And Musara, I request you to pray for us. Yes.
Let's pray. Thank you, dear God, for your loving mercies. Thank you for your love towards us, for you look upon each one of us with love. We come before you putting forth our prayer requests. There are some ladies and men out there who also require a partner, a companion, a friend. And I want to pray at this time that may you meet them at their points of need, for you know what is beautiful for each one of us. The time might tarry and delay, but you know what's best for us because you are not bound by time. May you be with each one of us. May we enjoy the journey that we are walking with you throughout our lives. May we enjoy the seasons that we are in with you, oh dear God, because you are ever with us. In every life's journey, you whisper to us your wisdom. In life's journey, you are with us. In our moments of weaknesses, you are with us, and you give us strength to soldier on. May you continue to shower your blessings on these beautiful young women and men, that they may continue to stay with you until you come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Tenzi kozowarini musati mashika moyo yedu yaneta nekumbumirira yowarini yoguwa inopenya kwazo kupenya kwembirine kuonekwa kwenyu kozowarini tenzi mubude kumusha matononoka tenzi vamwe vadzokera tenzi vatendi venyu vazara nezvivi vashoma vakamira murufaro rwenyu mutsanyi vakarara chemanyi vamuke vanoyeranga vati tenzi aswedera mwenje yenu ifute chiuno zisungwe vese vagadzirire kumuona tenzi mutsanyi vakarara chemanyi vamuke tenzi aswedera mwenje yenu ifute zviuno zvisungwe vese